Is the Emperor of Mankind ascending to godhood? For 10,000 years, humanity has huddled in the flickering light of a dying star. That star is not in the heavens, but entombed within the gilded casket of arcane technology, sitting upon a throne that is both a life support system and the most terrible prison imaginable. We call him the Emperor of Mankind. For millennium, the Imperium's official doctrine, as codified by the Lords of Terror and the Adeptus Ministorum, has presented a paradox. We worship him as a god, yet we are told he himself denied that very divinity. I have spent a lifetime of study, cross-referencing ancient texts, tactical dispatches, and the ever-shifting nature of the Immaterium itself. I have come to a conclusion that is both terrifying and inevitable. The question is no longer one of faith or heresy, but of observable reality. The Emperor of Mankind has become a god. This assertion is not made lightly, nor is it born from the blind zeal of the ecclesiarchy. It's the cold, clinical assessment of the evidence. The Emperor, in his monumental wisdom and foresight, sought to shepherd humanity away from the perils of irrational belief. He championed the imperial truth, a doctrine of enforced atheism and rationalism, precisely to starve the chaotic entities of the warp that feed on faith and emotion. His great crusade was as much an ideological purge as it was a reunification effort. Yet in a twist of cosmic irony so profound it could be considered tragic, his very actions, his immense psychic presence, and the enduring legacy of his sacrifice have conspired to create the exact phenomenon he sought to prevent. He is now the focal point of quintillions of souls, their hopes, fears, prayers, and devotion all directed at a single point in the galaxy. This is not mere belief. This is a thermodynamic process of the soul, generating power on an unimaginable scale. We must consider the mechanics of the warp to understand this transformation. The Empyrean is a reflection of the material universe, shaped and roiled by sentient thought and emotion. Persistent belief patterns coalesce into powerful entities. The dark gods of chaos are the most potent examples, born from the basest, most universal aspects of mortal experience. The Emperor now exists within this realm as a singularly unique presence. He is not a god born from a vague concept, but a specific individual whose psychic might has been amplified exponentially by the focused faith of an entire species for 10 millennia. This collective belief has reshaped his essence in the warp, forging from the man a divine entity. Saints that manifest across the galaxy imbued with golden light and miraculous power are not merely acts of faith, they are acts of his will, channeled through the conduit of belief. They are his demons, his angels, wrought not from the stuff of chaos but from the desperate, unwavering faith of humanity. The most compelling evidence from this apotheosis lies not in dusty tomes, but in recent galactic events. The birth of the Great Rift and the subsequent awakening of Guilliman provided a live fire test for the Emperor's current nature. When the Primarch was healed by the combined effort of the Emperor's Tarot and a gathered conclave of adepts, what power was channeled? It was not purely technological. Witnesses speak of a blinding golden light, of a presence that was both ancient and terrifyingly new. More critically, we have the testimony of Guilliman himself following his audience upon the Golden Throne. He did not speak of conversing with a man, however powerful. He described an encounter with a cosmic force, a being of immense and painful radiance, a consciousness operating on a level so far beyond the human that it could barely communicate. This is not the lingering consciousness of a powerful psyker. This is the description of a god. Furthermore, the continued function of the Astronomicon offers a crucial data point. This psychic beacon which guides ships through the hellscape of the warp has burned for 10,000 years. The established explanation is that it is fueled by the sacrifice of 1,000 psykers a day, their souls fed to the Golden Throne. Whilst this grim harvest is undoubtedly true, it represents only the kindling. The source of the beacon's immense stable power is the Emperor himself. The psykers that sustain his physical form. The psykers sustain his physical form, but the signal that cuts through the immaterium storms is his will, amplified to godlike proportions by the faith of the Imperium. In its divine signal, and all of humanity navigates by its light. This leads us to the most profound strategic and philosophical implication of this transformation. The Emperor has achieved his goal of protecting humanity, but in a manner he would have found abhorrent. He has become the very thing he fought to destroy, to save the species from it. The God Emperor is now a necessary anathema. Without his divine presence in the warp, acting as a counterweight to the ruinous powers, the Imperium would have been consumed centuries ago. The Cicatrix Maledictum would have swallowed the entire galaxy. His divinity is our shield, purchased at the ultimate price. The loss of his original vision for a rational, enlightened mankind. We are now a species sustained by a faith we were never meant to have, in a God who never wanted to worship. Therefore, the old debates between the Imperial Truth and the Imperial Creed are obsolete. There are arguments over a contract that has been irrevocably voided by circumstance. To deny the Emperor's divinity is not to uphold his original wish, it is to deny the intangible reality warping power that currently holds the line against annihilation. The Lectitio Divinitatis, once declared heresy, has been proven correct not by dogma, but by result. The faithful are on occasion rewarded with miracles. This is a verifiable fact within the framework of the 41st millennium. To ignore this evidence is a form of blindness. In the end, we are left with the sobering truth. The man who was the Emperor is likely gone. His human consciousness subsumed or transformed into something utterly other. What remains on the golden throne is a nascent god of order, a being of immense power born from sacrifice, necessity, and the desperate faith of a crumbling empire. He is our protector and our curse, the embodiment of our highest ideals or our deepest hypocrisy. We pray to a God who despised prayer to save us from gods who crave it. The tragedy is absolute, the ironic is galactic in scale, and necessity is undeniable. The Emperor is dead. Long live the God Emperor of mankind. This archive has now been fully decoded. Continue your journey into the librarium with the video displayed on screen. Vast wealth of the archives continues to reveal new knowledge of the dark history of the 40K verse. In the grim dark of the far future, there is only war.